We're going to do a little bit of a live feed here where I'm just going to go through some books. This is going to be part 2 of this section, and as you could see here, I've already set some filters. Now, as you may have already known from the first video, my favorite filters I like to use here are going to be the max price used, max new price, max Amazon price. These I pretty much skip. Then we've got max rank. You could also use average rank if you really want to, but I actually don't find too much use to that right now. And then max publication date. I have max use price set to 30. I have max new price set to no limit, and you're going to want max new price and max Amazon price to be the same, or at least this is how I like to set my filters. And the minimum new price I'm setting to 80. The logic behind this is that you want there to be enough of a spread so that there's room to make money. So if the maximum use price is $30 and the minimum new price is $80, the FBA price is going to be somewhere in between these two numbers. So you can even bring this higher, for example, $100. So right now I have it set to 80. So again, you want these set the same. Max rank, you can set this to whatever you want. Anything under $1 million is technically fine, but I like to stick with around 100,000 when I can. Now, because it's so close to textbook season, this is something that I would recommend doing for sure. Now, during the rest of the year, you might want to raise this a bit, 250K or something like that. Publication date, I have it set to 2010. Now, you can go more recent if you want, but the more recent you go, the more you're going to have to spend for the books that you're flipping, and it's not particularly necessary. The only time I would move this up is if you're just kind of experimenting with filters and you want to get some new, fresh results, to check on more listings. So this is the settings we're going to use here, and what I have up right now is Algebra 1 Common Core Student Edition. This is a pretty good one. This is the 4th one on the list that I was looking at. And when you click on it, first of all, here's the Keepa graph right here. We're always looking at this. So if you don't have Keepa extension, make sure you watch the video about the needed extensions that you're going to want to use. Make sure that you have them installed before you start any of this. So the cheap merchant price on these start at $21 plus shipping. This guy has pretty good feedback. So again, you're always looking at feedback. So we're looking at about $25. So you want to see what's wrong with it. Cover warm, but text still usable. So the thing you have to realize with these merchant sellers a lot of the time, if they have high feedback, they're undergrading their books. There's a lot of merchant sellers that undergrade their books, so they'll be putting acceptable when really it could be good or even very good. Now you have to be careful because a lot of the time it's the opposite. Sometimes people overgrade their books, but you're really going to know by the number of feedback and the percentage. I can tell you 97% is really good for a merchant seller with that many ratings. So this guy's probably good to buy from. Now this guy's telling you it has water damage. Right, so that's something you probably want to stay away from. You can also see that I have Keepa enabled, so I have the stock enabled, so I can see that this guy has 4 copies. I can see that this guy has 13 copies. So with that said, another thing to keep in mind is you could buy a copy at acceptable, but when you actually go to send it in FBA, turns out you can actually overgrade that book because this person undergraded it. FBA, you're going to get more money and you're going to be able to grade the book less conservatively as well. This has been my experience. So this is $25 roughly you're going to spend. Now when we check the FBA offers, we're looking at $85 as the cheapest acceptable. Now Amazon new is at $91, so this is a little unrealistic. With that said, the sales rank over the last 3 or so months is really, really good. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind is that this book is selling so fast that the second you send this thing in, it's going to sell. Now, $91 new, you're going to want to price it less than that. How much less is going to be up to you, but let's plug in a few numbers. We'll say we get it for $25. Let's say we sell this for $75, which I think is actually completely realistic given the low sales rank on this. So that's a net profit of $30.25, ROI of 121%. Now, again, especially, this is something I went over a bit in the first live video. You're not going to be getting, ridiculous ROI on every book you flip, but you are going to find some really good ones. This is a really good one. So if I'm able to, I'm going to buy more than one copy of this book. So this guy has one, or at least that's the way it looks. Now, if you don't see how many are in stock from Keepa, you have two options. There's a plugin called How Many. I believe it costs $5 a month. And the other way is you would do it manually. So how you would do that is you add it to your cart. Click on cart. I have some other stuff in here. You're going to change the quantity. You're going to put $9.99. And you're going to see what happens. Hit update. This guy has 68 copies. So this guy has a lot of books. Now, here's another thing that's really important with this. I guarantee you not all 68 copies of this book are going to be completely worn. This guy is definitely undergrading his books. So now, I don't think I'm going to buy 60 copies, but what I will do is email this person and say, hi, I'm interested in buying 10 copies, let's say, of Algebra 1 Common Core Student Edition. And I'll say, can you send me a few photos of a few of the texts that you have in stock so I can see the condition? I would like to buy several copies. Now, the reason that they have a good chance of responding to you is that you're saying, look, I might buy 20 copies off of you. So you're giving them a reason to reply to you when they probably get lots of inquiries all day long anyway. So this guy has a lot. You could see that Keepa didn't show anything, so it's not foolproof. Sometimes you have to check. With the sales rank like this, though, you're going to make money every time. I mean, literally every time. And that's why eFLIP's such a great program, especially when you know how to use it. So this is a really good one. But we're going to go down the list here. And again, this is live sourcing. I want to show you guys exactly what I do, exactly what my process is. I'm showing you some of the filters I use, but again, there's no magic filters. You can set this however you like, and you're still going to be able to find things, but you have to look at the data. So we're going to click this right here, open a new tab. I'm going to close these so I don't get confused. So we have the Keepa graph here. You can see the rank really plummeted here. So this is really selling a lot right now. We got acceptable at $24 shipped. And we're going to check the FBA price by clicking on this right to the left. So we got $38 as opposed to $20. So the spread is not enough there. So that's not going to be something we spend any more time with. So medical surgical nursing, again, you could see that $26 with a new price of $90. So there's a big spread here. So this is the reason that we set our filters this way. But again, you're not going to know if this is something you want to buy until you actually look at it. So we'll open this up, check the history. So sales rank looks really good. Now, if you actually look at this graph, you can see the sales rank, 15,000, that's the top. So this is fluctuating only between 5,000 and 15,000, which is really incredible. So this is super, super popular. So we've got a cheap offer at about 25, and then we got one up from there that's a little more expensive. So let's not waste any time with this because the whole thing is going through this quickly. So we got FBA starting at about $45, and we have the cheap merchant at 25. It's really not enough room there. So this isn't really one that we're going to spend a lot of time on. Look really quick. Cheap merchant of 30. Great feedback rating. Make sure there's no water damage. Don't see anything there. And make sure it's the same book. Yes. So I believe it was 30. What's FBA? 37. Not even close, but sales rank is really good on this. This is going to get bought. Now, here's something else to keep in mind. $38. Meanwhile, you have a very good at 70. Guarantee you that's going to be gone super fast as well. So we're going to assume that this is going to get sold by the time your book gets to the warehouse. And we're going to assume that this book is going to be sold soon too. Now, this guy actually has 5 copies. but he doesn't have a whole lot of feedback. So the good news is that he's FBA, and if the condition isn't good when you get it, you just the return gets auto accepted, you get your money back. But regardless, even at 5 copies, this guy is going to be gone. This is not going to stay here. You've got very good at 70. So let's say that. So what are our merchants? Merchants are like 30. And you've actually got a very good, but see, look at the feedback. See, I'm not messing with this guy. So let's just say this guy at 38. This would be an FBA to FBA flip. Don't use your FBA account if you do this. Make sure you use a separate Amazon account without a Prime membership. That's a good way to get your account shut down. So we're going to say 38 into 80 is probably what you're going to be able to flip this for. Just to double check, let's see what Amazon's selling it. Amazon's through the roof. Okay, $165. People are going to avoid paying that as long as they possibly can. So 38 into 80 is what I believe is realistic on this book. So let's take a look at what kind of profit we can expect here. And you're looking at a profit of about $22.94 with a ROI of 60.4%, which is acceptable because we want to be above 30%. This is obviously double that. So definitely a good find. So this is a good one. And when you're first starting with the online arbitrage with books and textbooks, I really recommend to spread your risk. So if this is something new to you, I'd really recommend you just buy 1 or 2 copies of books like this, because you don't want to go too deep into anything. You're going to be able to track all this stuff. So when you're, number one, you're spreading your risk. Number 2, you're keeping track of every single book you're buying and sending in. You're keeping track of the price. You're keeping track of the rank. You're keeping track of all of this. So when these books do sell, you can match up your spreadsheet and you can see consistently what is selling. You could see everything that you would ever want to see, everything you would ever want to know to make good buying decisions in the future for flipping books to make more money. So again, that's really what I recommend someone new to online arbitrage with textbooks does. You want to spread your risk. So, don't go buying 20 books of the same title, because if you made a judgment error on that, you're going to be stuck with 20 books, and then what are you going to do? Now, if you're only buying 1 of each, you're going to be able to get your money back on that. You're not going to be losing money, certainly. So let's check this one, microeconomics. The data here is good, but really the reason that we use eFLIP is to set the initial filters, and everything else, the buying decision, we're not spending $5 here. We're talking about spending 20, 30 bucks, sometimes even more than that. So, obviously if you have to take a look with your own 2 eyes at a couple things, it's warranted in that case. So microeconomics, again, everything we're looking at, super good rank. Scroll down a bit, $29 is the cheapest offer. Let's take a look at the FBAs. So 29, we have a good at 40.53. Let's say that guy sells out though. So then we got 48. So that's a little bit low too. But with that said, let's see what comes after that. So after those, it jumps up to 75. So that's a lot closer to what we want to be seeing. With that said, this guy actually does tell you what's wrong with it. So $29, and the FBA copies here, there's only a couple, so that's the good news. So again, when we're talking about super low rank stuff like this, we're really not concerned all that much when we see a couple offers. But what I do recommend you do is to see how many of these guys have in stock. Because if this guy has 99 copies of this freaking book, you don't want to send it in, because then your assumption, or your educated guess / assumption that this is going to sell out could be completely far from reality. So we're going to hit add to cart. We want to check this guy. We want to check the other guy too, because we really don't want to make a bad decision here. So let's put 999, see what happens. So this guy only has 1, so I can guarantee you that that book is going to be gone. The second your copy gets into FBA, this guy probably won't be here in the next 2 hours, let alone the next week. But let's check this guy here too, just to be sure. Because if this guy has like 50 copies, you know, we're a little concerned about that. So again, we put 999, hit update. Let's see what we come up with. Sure enough, this guy only has one too. So both of these sellers only have one copy in stock. So these two offers are nothing to be concerned about. And this is why you really have to check. And this is why, you know, I decided to do this live video to show you guys, because a lot of people, you know, they might see this and they might move on. Little do they know that they've just come across, you know, potentially a really good book. So this is something that realistically you buy for $30, but you're actually looking at selling it for about $75. So with that said, you know, you want to punch in the numbers. Now this is something I use all the time, this pricing calculator. So this is actually 86.7% ROI, which is quite high. So let's say you made a bad decision and you actually only sell it for $55. Well, you still make money. You're at 30%. Now 55 is really low, right? So that we're really going worst case scenario here. But let's say, you know, let's say a little more realistically, price drops for whatever reason, pretty unlikely during textbook season, if it happens to be textbook season when you do this. So let's say 65. So you're still at almost 60% return. Definitely a good buy. You know, you made $20 in like 5 minutes looking at a book, right? That's the beauty of online arbitrage. So with that said, we'll look at a couple more. Got Glencoe. See, 2011, it's an older book, but it's got an 8,000 sales rank, right? So that's why the publication date isn't super important. So you could even change this date to even older than that if you want to. Again, I'm going to close out these other tabs because I don't like getting too cluttered. $22 acceptable. 92% is kind of on the fence here. This guy's got 97. He's a lot better. So this guy is around the same price, looking at $22. Click on this to check the FBA. So 22. You've got one lowballer at 37.44, but you can see Keepa already tells you that this guy only has one in stock, so this is gone, right? I mean, the sales rank's at 8,000. It has been for like 2 months. This guy is gone. Don't even have to worry. Consider this not even here. So you're looking at about 22 into 60, or 59 rather. So if we put 22 and we flip this for 59, again, we're looking at 89.3%. Now remember, guys, our acceptable ROI is really like 30% is on the low end. So we're like way far above that right now. We're really in healthy ranges here. So this is really substantial returns to make for your money, and this is pretty much guaranteed. When you invest money, and a lot of people don't realize, right? When you're buying these textbooks, you're basically investing in something that has known value. You're not buying, you know, a scratch ticket and it's just a big question mark. You know, that's just not the case. You're buying something that has a lot of worth and it has value to people. Now, you can even check the last year and you can see this is a consistent seller. And not only that, but the price. I mean, this is still a book that sells. So you're putting your money into something that people want. So this is a good one. So, I mean, we've gone down this list. This is a lot similar to the last video. I mean, guys, you could see that you set some good filters. You kind of know what you're looking for. And you're going to find books back to back to back. So, you know, what you could do is, if that happens and you're just finding so many books, I mean, this is the reason that I set these filters and I sort by rank. So you could see I'm doing this on purpose. I'm starting at the super low rank ones because I know this stuff is going to sell. I know it's going to be quick flips. I'm not going to have to wait months for my money. This stuff is going to hit the marketplace and it's going to sell. And if you watch the other video I have in this course on pricing, you know, that's the other whole aspect to this. This is, you have to know how to price a book, and you have to make sure that your repricing is set up to the right way for textbooks, because textbooks, you're going to want to reprice differently than other books. You're not going to want your textbooks to go down into the gutter, especially when you're spending, you know, more money for your textbook. So again, if you're finding that you're just finding you know, quite a few books that look really good, so you really want to pick the best of the best. So maybe you find 10 books and you've got, 50% ROI, and then you've got 100% ROI, 75%. So then you take the ones that have the least risk and the highest ROI, right? It's very simple. You probably don't have unlimited funds to work with, right? So you're going to have to pick and choose the ones that make the most sense. Now, that doesn't always mean the highest return on investment, right? That doesn't always mean that, but obviously that's one of the things to look at. So single variable calculus, again, there's a huge gap here. Maximum Amazon price we have set to no limit, but the actual Amazon price for these books is actually like really high. So this single variable calculus, we have a low used offer of $20. Amazon wants $259 for this book. So this is an interesting one I want to take a look at, because I really want to see where the prices are on this title. So this guy's got 90%. It's a little low for feedback. Little to no markings. He's saying there is some water damage. No major tearing means there is some tearing. So it has some issues. So it's up to you if you really want to go with this guy or not. You might be taking a little bit of a chance. This guy's telling you it has heavy cover wear. So you kind of have to make a decision on, which one you want to go with. You got Goodwill, Brooklyn Bob. I mean, you have a lot of different people here. Some of these people give really specific information. This guy's telling you that the formula cards are intact, limited markings. So this guy actually looks pretty decent. $28, good condition. So I would consider buying it from that guy, Brooklyn Bob. Now the big question is, what are the prime offers going for? Because Amazon's through the roof. Yeah, so sure enough, even though Amazon is just crazy priced, the FBAs are low. So I mean, this is really not something that I would be overly thrilled about. There's just not enough margin there. Close out of these. Got a low merchant price of $25.50, including shipping. I don't really like water damage books, so let's take a look at this one. This guy says slight water damage. I don't know. It's a little questionable. 84% feedback. Anybody that, says their book is good condition with 84% feedback, I mean, that's just really bad. This guy's saying very good, but he's less than 90%. So, some of these guys are a little questionable. So again, you want to watch the video on, what you're looking for. So the different criteria, feedback, what you look for in the seller feedback when you research that, condition, everything, price, what you're looking for in Keepa. So make sure you look at the criteria video. I'm going to check what the FBA price is to see if I even need to look any further with this, because if it's too low, I'm wasting my time. Sure enough, it is. So it's starting at $33.86. So even if this did sell out, the next one's at $45, and the sales rank is just way too jumpy for me. Way too jumpy. So this is not like a solid line at like 5K. This is jumping up and down, up and down. Not that this is a bad sales rank, but it's not selling a ton of copies where I would feel comfortable putting my money into this. So I'm going to skip that one. Let's try this geometry textbook right here. So looking at about $36. This guy says not pretty, but gets the job done. Oh, okay. So 33 plus 4, looking at 37. 37 low use price. And FBA, you're looking at 78. So 37 to 78. So you're going to have to check the calculator to see if that's something that makes sense. And it looks like that's 54.6%. That's pretty good. So profit $20.21. You're spending 37 on the book. So, that's not really too bad. So now you can come back in here and give it a little bit closer of a look. The sales rank looks great. You can see that this is just really smooth. It's staying at one steady range. Even back in, or June rather, May was a little jumpy. Not that that's a terrible thing, but it wasn't, super consistent. Now you could see the sales are just, just back to back over and over again, all the way back to June. So that looks good. This guy actually has 4 in stock. So, You make a 55% return times 4 if you want to, but if you're new to it, again, I'd only buy 1 or 2. People do buy acceptable books, especially textbooks. So me personally, I would be willing to buy 1 copy of this. I really wouldn't be overly concerned about it. I'd send it in FBA, and I would flip this one. I think that one's worth looking into. So check this one right here. Just gonna move down the line, just back to back. So, you know, this guy says very good. I would completely ignore it, obviously, due to no feedback. 2346, good. So this guy has a good copy for $23. I don't know if this guy's repricer is just going crazy or what the deal is here, but he's the only FBA offer anywhere near there. We've got one guy with an acceptable at 38.15. But when you look at the rank, it's definitely down. So, you know, it's pretty consistent now. Back in July, you know, it was still a good rank and it was selling. But now it's like really selling. So I think this acceptable, that's going to be gone. That one's definitely going to be gone. That $23 used good is definitely going to be gone. Here we got another one, 50.68. That's probably where this is going to stabilize, would be my guess. Probably around that $50 mark. No guarantees though. So this one, there's really no guarantees. It's going to be at 50 because you do have a couple prime here, and the history is not showing that it's going to be, you know, this guaranteed thing.